Welcome back, spooky friends, to Boo You Gore, the podcast where we unpack true crime in a very informal fashion. I'm Jade.
And I'm Anetta, and today we're diving into a case that went from sports headlines to straight-up horror. This story has it all: fame, ego, tragedy, and the heartbreaking loss of Reeva Steenkamp. What I'm talking about, of course, is the Oscar Pistorius case.
So pour one out for justice, take a deep breath, and let's unpack how the South African sprinter went from hero to straight-up killer overnight.
Firstly, though, welcome to Season 2.
We're officially in our second year. We had a whole ass birthday.
That's exciting.
Right?
I think I'm amazed and proud of us for lasting this long.
And we hit 1,000 downloads on our birthday.
That went through the roof, by the way, when you were like, hey guys, please help us.
Yeah, I did those of you who know me in real life would have seen that I did a very shameless, it's our birthday and we want to hit 1,000 downloads, go listen. And all of my amazing friends who do listen went and listened, and we hit 1,000 downloads in like 6 minutes after I put the post up or something.
Yeah, and then it went to hundreds and hundreds more than that.
Oh, wow, that's so good. Thanks, guys. How's that for support?
Yeah.
That was so good. I was at work and the email come through and I was like, yes, we just hit 1,000 downloads. And everyone like looked at me like, what? I'm like, the podcast just hit 1,000 downloads and it's our birthday today. And then Joel was like, so you're getting another tattoo? Are you doing a tattoo for the 1,000 downloads and for the birthday? And I was like, it wasn't something we had discussed, but that's a brilliant idea.
The first one.
So now we have to get 2 tattoos.
I'm keen. There's no real segue into this one. Do you have anything for Jades of Our Lives? How's your life been?
Oh my God. I do have one. Isn't that big a deal, but it's just a Jade-ism. I have found this online auction site. And went on there the other day and there was all these animal skins and all this taxidermy stuff and medical tools and like vintage medical shit. So me being me, I was like, oh my God, I need 7 of everything.
Purchase.
But I forgot when the actual auction was on. So the only thing that I had bid on was a big cow skin rug and I ended up winning it. So I drove all the way down to the auction house today to pick it up.
And you bought more stuff?
No, given it to someone else. I got down there and he's like, here's your rug. I'm like, that's not my rug. And he's like, yeah, the cow skin rug. I was like, no, I brought the black cow skin rug. And he's like, are you sure? I was like, look at me, mate. I'm sure I brought the black one. And he's like, oh, give me a second. And then I heard him out the back on the phone to someone.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you've got the wrong rug. Any chance you can bring it back?
They didn't want to bring it back.
They said they would, but we'll see.
Oh, it's only just happened. So
yeah, but like, the frick, it was today. I drove down there today to get it. And he goes, oh, you're handling this really well. I was like, this is my life. Like, I don't even know what to say. I just don't even react anymore.
Like you were kind of expecting it.
Yeah. I was just like, whatever. And the other thing that's actually really cool is, the painting I was talking about a couple of weeks ago that I got from Sabine. It's doing shit in the shop.
Just like you expected.
Yep.
That's amazing / scary.
And like it's funny because if it's facing out, so the painting's out, things will happen. Pictures move on the wall. The painting itself jumped, so it's sort of like it was just sitting on top of a toolbox and one corner lifted and dropped back down on the toolbox. And then I said to Joel, I'm like, did you fucking see that? And he's like, I heard it. And I was standing there just looking at the painting. I was probably a good 3 or 4 feet away from it. And Joel looked up from tattooing and it did it again. And he was like, what the fuck? So then I started jumping on the floor and doing everything I could to see if I could get it to do it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it to move. So I was like, we're just going to turn that back around because it was a Saturday and we're about to be gone for a couple of days. And I was like, I'm not leaving that facing outwards when no one's here for 2 days. Yeah. So I turned it back around. So if it goes it goes into timeout now. So when it's turned around, random shit will happen. I had all of the business cards just randomly pop out of the business card holder. Business card holder stayed on the desk, but all the business cards hit the floor.
What the hell?
Like, it's just little things like that.
Wind or...
And they've like sat there for years and nothing's happened. So anytime something happens, I'm like, right, you're going back into timeout. And I turn the painting around and tell it off for being naughty. So yeah, that's fun. So we're gonna try and stay back one night and we're gonna play with it and see if we can get it to do things.
Definitely record that.
Because it wasn't turned around for long when it jumped on the toolbox.
Wow.
So I feel like if it's facing outwards and people are looking at it, giving it attention, giving it energy, and if it's faced the other way,
it doesn't.
It's not.
Can't collect kind of thing.
And I had a client grab it the other day because it was turned around, and she was like, "Oh, Glenn sighed," and grabbed it and spun it around, and she's like, "Oh," and just turned it back around and put it down.
I'll have to find it, but we have to post it on our Instagram for people to see how insane this picture is. You can't explain it. There's just so much happening in it.
Yeah, and everywhere you look, there's just something else.
It's almost like a Where's Wally. There's just stuff everywhere.
And stuff that doesn't make sense to be together. The cherubs that are underground, and there's all these animals that have got like humanoid eyes. Document. Yeah. And then like it looks like the signing of the Declaration type thing. Yeah, you can tell it's painted by a lunatic.
That's not really a segue into today's episode.
Yeah, how
because he wasn't a lunatic.
And it was really scary, and I ran. Speaking of running.
Wow. Well,
smooth as butter. Smooth as crunchy peanut butter.
Crunchy peanut butter. As we said, today's episode is about Oscar Pistorius. Before everything went to hell, he was the guy. Double amputee, incredible athlete, global icon, and they called him the Blade Runner because of his carbon fiber prosthetic legs. He ran in both Paralympics and the Olympics, making history, getting sponsorships, and then I love that it wrote this, dating models. It's so specific. Oscar Leonard Carl Pistorius was born to Henk and Sheila Pistorius on 22nd November 1986 in Johannesburg, South Africa. He grew up in a Christian home and has an elder brother and a younger sister. Pistorius credits his mother, who died at the age of 43 when Pistorius was 15 years old, as a major influence in his life. Pistorius was born with fibular hemimelia, congenital absence of the fibula in both legs, so he had no bones. Kind of thing. Yeah. When he was 11 months old, both of his legs were amputated halfway between his knees and ankles. He attended Constantia Kloof Primary School and Pretoria Boys High School, where he played rugby union in the school's team. He played water polo and tennis between the ages of 11 and 13. In addition, Pistorius took part in Club Olympic wrestling and trained at Janny Brooks's garage gym in Pretoria. Every time I say Pretoria, I think of that movie Escape from Pretoria. So he went to that jail that they escaped from in that movie.
Wow.
Anyway, Brooks remarked that it took 6 months before he noticed that Pistorius had no legs, but nonetheless was able to do many exercises, including boxing, skipping, and doing press-ups. After a serious rugby knee injury in June 2003, Pistorius was introduced to running in January 2004 while undergoing rehabilitation at the University of Pretoria's High Performance Centre with coach Ampy Lou, and never looked back. Jesus, did I want to put any full stops in there or what?
Every time you say no legs, I just think of the part, like Adam Sandler's clip at the start of Funny People, where he's prank calling people, and he's like, I have no legs, can I speak to your manager?
I think I've seen that movie once, maybe.
Oh, fucking kills me.
I think because it got really serious. I was like, it's not that funny.
Yeah.
So I never watched it. His first racing blades were fitted by South African prosthetist Francois van der Watt. Because he was unable to find suitable running blades in Pretoria, van der Watt ordered the pair to be made by a local engineer. However, as these quickly broke, van der Watt referred Pistorius to the American prosthetist and Paralympic sprinter Brian Frasher to be fitted for blades by Icelandic company Ossa. Pistorius began studying for a Bachelor of Commerce in Business Management with Sports Science at the University of Pretoria in 2006. In a June 2008 interview for his university's website, he joked, I won't graduate soon. With all the training I have had to cut down on my subjects, hopefully I'll finish by the time I'm 30. He was so young, by the way.
It's like such a shame that it ended out how he did, because he seems like such an overachiever.
When you see the video, because I watched a video which was sort of the trial and things on YouTube.
Yeah.
He was so committed. He was so dedicated to running, and he, there was certain things that were getting banned or weren't allowed in Olympics, and he was constantly fighting to actually compete in the Olympics as well.
Wow.
Asked by a journalist for his sporting motto, he said, you're not disabled by the disabilities you have. You are able by the abilities you have.
Wow.
He was very...
Yeah, inspiring.
Yeah, inspiring. Yeah. Pistorius went on to qualify. What the fuck? Qualify.
It's my qualifications.
What is with this episode? Pistorius went on to qualify for numerous Olympics and Paralympics. So there was actually a lot of dispute over his prosthetic legs. Pistorius has been the subject of criticism because of claims that his artificial limbs give him an advantage over runners with natural ankles and feet. He runs with J-shaped carbon fiber called the Flex Foot Cheetah, developed by biomedical engineer Van Phillips and manufactured by Oscar. On 26 March 2007, IAAF amended its competition rules to include a ban on the use of any technical device that incorporates springs, wheels, or any other element that provides a user with an advantage over another athlete not using such a device. The IAAF stated that the amendment was not specifically aimed at Pistorius. To decide whether he was running with an unfair advantage, the IAAF monitored his track performances using high-definition cameras to film his race against Italian club runners in Rome on 13th July and his 400 metres in Sheffield on 15th July 2007, at which he placed last.
Oh, wow.
In November 2007, Pistorius was invited to take part in a series of scientific tests at the German Sports University under the guidance of Professor of Biomechanics, Dr. Peter Bruggemann, in conjunction with Elio Locatelli, who was responsible for all technical issues in the IAAF. After 2 days' tests, Bruggemann reported on his findings. The report claimed that Pistorius' limbs used 25% less energy than runners with complete natural legs running at the same speed, and that they led to less vertical motion combined with 30% less mechanical work for lifting the body. In December, Bruggemann told Die Welt newspaper that Pistorius has considerable advantages over athletes without prosthetic limbs who were tested by us. It was more than just a few percentage points. I did not expect it to be so clear.
Wow.
So he was saying it was like very obvious advantage that he had. Because of these findings, on 14th January 2008, IAAF ruled Pistorius' prosthesis ineligible for use in competitions conducted under the IAAF rules, including the 2008 Summer Olympic Games. Pistorius called the decision premature and highly subjective and pledged to continue fighting for his dream. His manager, Pete Van Zilm, said his appeal would be based on advice from experts in the United States who had said that the report did not take enough variables into consideration. Pistorius subsequently appealed against the decision to the court in Switzerland and appeared before the tribunal at the end of April 2008. After the 2-day hearing on 16th May 2008, CAS, which is like the court, upheld Pistorius' appeal and the IAAF council decision was revoked with immediate effect.
Oh, wow.
So the court panel unanimously determined that Bruggemann had tested Pistorius' biomechanics only at full speed when he was running in a straight line, unlike a real 400-meter race, which is in the circles they go. That the report did not consider the disadvantages that Pistorius has at the start and acceleration phases of the race, and that overall there was no evidence that he had any net advantage over non-disabled athletes. In response to the announcement, Pistorius said, "My focus throughout this appeal has been to ensure that disabled athletes be given the chance to compete and compete fairly with non-disabled athletes. I look forward to continuing my quest to qualify for the Olympics." In 2012, Pistorius had sponsorship deals worth $2 million US a year with Oscar, which was the ones that do the mechanical legs, BT, Nike, Oakley, and Thierry Mugler. That's crazy. He also participated as a model in advertising campaigns where he met all his model girlfriends. Yeah. Following the murder charge, sponsors were initially hesitant to abandon him, but after a week, sponsors began to withdraw their support. A week. Wow. So the night of the murder, I knew about this story before doing research, but I didn't realize how short of a time they were actually together.
Oh, really?
Like they were already together for like 3-4 months.
Wow.
It was a very short time. So the night of the murder, in the early hours of Valentine's Day, 14th February 2013, South African athlete Oscar Pistorius shot and killed his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp at his home in Silverwoods Estate in Pretoria, South Africa. According to Pistorius' testimony, Reeva was doing yoga at around 10 p.m. before they both went to bed. He woke around 3 a.m. because of the heat and humidity and got out of bed without his prosthetics to open the balcony and bring a fan inside to cool the room down. While doing this, he heard a noise coming from the bathroom, and believing this to be an intruder, he grabbed his gun from under the bed. So it was like the bedroom, the tiny little I guess that was their like walking robe kind of thing and had the cupboards on the sides.
Yeah.
And then it went into the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then it was like shower, bath in the corner, spa bath, and then the toilet was a separate room.
Yeah.
With a separate door. So believing this to be intruder, he grabbed his gun from under the bed. He whispered to Reeva to call the police, thinking she was still in bed, but too afraid to turn on any lights in case it would alert them that he was awake. Then proceeded to go towards the bathroom. So he's on, like, he called him stump. So I don't know if that's what the, I guess, correct term is.
Yeah.
So he's on quite a low level, what he's saying he's at.
Because he'd be like,
yeah,
almost half his height.
He proceeded to go towards the bathroom. The toilet door was closed and locked. As he didn't have his prosthetic legs on, he said he felt completely vulnerable and that he had to protect Reeva and himself, knowing that as soon as the intruder came out of the toilet, they would be in grave danger. He shot 4 times at the door and into the toilet, then shouted for Reeva to call the police. She did not respond. He moved backwards out of the bathroom, keeping his eyes on the entrance. Still no lights on. When he reached the bed, he realised Reeva wasn't there, and that's when it dawned on him that it could have been Reeva in the toilet. He returned to the bathroom calling Reeva's name, but she didn't answer. He tried opening the door, which was still locked. And when he couldn't get it open, he went back into the bedroom and out onto the balcony where he started screaming for help. He then put on his prosthetic legs and tried to kick the door open. When that didn't work, he went and got a cricket bat to try and smash the door down. He managed to smash holes in the door paneling, which enabled him to reach through and open the door. Pistorius found Reeva still alive and slumped over the toilet. There's a statement from someone that said after they heard gunshots that they went onto their balcony and saw a light on, and that he heard a female screaming 2 to 3 times and then more gunshots.
Oh, wow.
But then there was, not that they were sort of debunked that, but they were saying they were too far away to have heard screaming.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like that wasn't really, I think, investigated too far. A police officer stated that he believed Pistorius knew Reeva was in the bathroom and shot 4 times through the door and killed her. 1 bullet cartridge was found outside the bathroom, 3 others inside. The shots went in the top to bottom trajectory, suggesting that Pistorius was in fact wearing his prosthetics.
Oh, wow.
He said the location of the wounds on her body showed she was not using the toilet, but was actually hiding. But the defense then stated that Reeva had an empty bladder, which would not have been the case at that time of night because it was 3 a.m. or around 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And she had no defensive wounds either.
Yeah.
So it's very divided of whether they believe his story.
Yeah.
Reeva's mum and dad, I don't believe ever believed him.
Yeah.
And then even stated in an interview once, she was like, who does believe him?
Yeah.
I don't think she ever... All right. Having only dated for a short period of time, a few months actually, Oscar was adamant that he loved Reeva. There was apparently messages from Reeva to Oscar on WhatsApp stating that he scared her sometimes and how he would get angry. He was controlling at times, and she was just stating random things like that he scared her and stuff. Yeah. Who messages that if you're not? One of the first responders to the scene was Pistorius' neighbour, who found him walking down the stairs with Reeva in his arms, distraught, crying and yelling for help. His neighbour, who was actually a doctor, when I was taking notes, I'm like, of course his name's Johan.
Oh my God.
So his neighbour, Dr. Johan Stipp, tried performing a jaw lift manoeuvre on Reeva to try open her airway. In his analysis of the situation, it was apparent that she had been mortally wounded after being struck in the head and the hip. So he kind of went to do it and was pretty much like, no, she's gone. Reeva Steenkamp was declared dead at the scene. On 12th September, Pistorius was found guilty of culpable homicide and 1 firearm-related charge of reckless endangerment related to discharging a firearm in a restaurant. He was found not guilty of 2 other firearm-related charges relating to possession of illegal ammunition and firing a firearm through the sunroof of a car. So apparently that was an incident with his ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
He got pulled over and he was mad that he got pulled over and got a fine. So he shot his gun through the sunroof. Like, it's
kind
crazy.
of like points to him being a little bit unhinged.
It does, because then I was going to say he is actually a huge gun lover. I do have a list and a bit of a story here. So hold on, what was that? And then on 21st October 2014, he received a prison sentence of a maximum of 5 years for culpable homicide and a concurrent 3-year suspended prison sentence for the separate reckless endangerment conviction. So he got 5 years initially.
Wow.
For the murder. Like I said, he was a huge, huge gun lover. and even wanted to buy the following guns. There was actually a transaction that was cancelled after Reeva's death of the following. This was on his wish list. There was a Smith & Wesson 500 revolver, Smith & Wesson 38 revolver, a Mossberg Maverick pump-action shotgun with pistol grip, a Winchester Defender pump-action shotgun, a Mossberg M930 semi-automatic shotgun, a Luvo LA-15 assault rifle,
Jesus,
a Vector LM6. I'm probably saying these all wrong, but whatever. I'm not a gun expert. Vector LM6 assault rifle. Why do you need 2 assault rifles,
Yeah.
3 shotguns, and 2 more revolvers when you've already got like 1 gun? Which his defense, like Africa, there is a lot of break-ins.
Yeah.
He was in a nicer area because he was rich and famous and whatever, but people break in and apparently they have had intruders before.
Yeah.
So I understand wanting a gun, and it was legally, he did legally have that gun registered and whatnot, but then why do you need all these things?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And why would you want to purchase more guns after you've just accidentally
this was his wish list before.
Oh,
so there
okay,
was a transaction that I don't know if all of these at once, and then the transaction, like obviously after her death, that like they cancelled it, and he obviously didn't get him. Now, I mean, I'm no gun expert, but that's an insane wish list.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
You don't need that. So I'm kind of down to the sentencing. I did briefly tell you what happened. So on 12th September 2014, he was found not guilty of murder, but guilty of culpable homicide in the case. So that was kind of on the like manslaughter, essentially.
Yeah.
So you're just getting done for unlawful killing of a person, whether intentional or caused by actions with the knowledge that death is likely to result. On 4th November 2014, prosecutors applied to the sentencing judge for permission to appeal the culpable homicide verdict, stating that the 5-year prison term was shockingly light, inappropriate, and would not have been imposed by any reasonable court. Which, true, 5 years does not sound like a lot.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
When you think of how insane some people's sentencings are for something much, much smaller.
Yeah.
Judge Thokozil Masipa ruled on 10th December 2014 that the prosecution could change her ruling of acquitting Pistorius of premeditated murder and convicting him of a lesser charge of culpable homicide. However, she ruled that the state could not appeal the length of the sentence. The case was then set for appeal in front of a 5-person panel at the Supreme Court of Appeal. They didn't have a jury at all. Like, it wasn't, I don't know if it was a time thing or a country thing. The prosecutor's argument rested on Judge Masipa's application of the legal principle of dolus eventualis, which is whether an accused did actually foresee the outcome of his actions rather than whether he or she should have, and that the judge made an error in concluding Pistorius had not foreseen that by firing 4 shots through the closed door of the toilet cubicle, it would kill or injure whoever was behind the door.
Absolutely. I was literally just about to say, like, you pull a trigger, 4 times as well. You know there's a solid chance you're going to kill somebody.
Yeah, so they were pretty much saying, why didn't you fire a warning shot?
Yeah.
Is what they were kind of getting at.
Yeah.
The appeal was heard on 3rd November 2015 in the Supreme Court of Appeal. The matter was heard before 5 Supreme Court judges. By unanimous decision, the court overturned Pistorius' culpable homicide conviction and found him guilty of murder in the death of Reeva Steenkamp. Judge Eric Leach read the summary of judgment. The panel of 5 judges found for the prosecutor's argument that Pistorius must have known that someone would die if he fired through the closed door into a small toilet cubicle. In the words of Judge Leach, although he may have been anxious, it is inconceivable that a rational person could have believed he was entitled to fire at this person with a heavy caliber firearm without taking even the most elementary precaution of firing a warning shot, which the accused said he elected not to fire as he thought the ricochet might harm him. According to the judgment, the person who Pistorius thought was in the cubicle had nothing to do with the results of his actions. The culpable homicide verdict was replaced with a murder conviction, and the case was referred back to the trial court for a sentencing hearing when it reconvened. On 8th December 2015, it was announced Pistorius would continue to remain free on bail, but under house arrest pending his appeal to the Constitutional Court. On 3rd of March 2016, it was announced Pistorius had been denied his right to appeal and would next be due in court on 13th June 2016 to begin a 5-day sentencing hearing for the murder conviction, concluding on 17th June 2016. The sentencing was adjourned by Judge Thokazil Masipa until 6 July 2016. On 6 July, Judge Masipa sentenced Pistorius to 6 years in prison for murder, despite South Africa carrying a minimum sentence of 15 years for this offence. Yeah, what the fuck?
Wow. It was less than half the time.
Like, what was... Yeah, especially if there's a minimum. Why not stick to what the rules are?
That's it.
On 24th November 2017, the Court of Appeal extended Oscar Pistorius' jail term to 13 years and 5 months with the possibility of parole from 2023. So they did eventually see that it was way too light. In March 2023, it was announced that a parole board would consider an early release for Pistorius on 31st March, despite him serving just half of his sentence. Pistorius' release was opposed by Barry and June Steenkamp, Reeva Steenkamp's parents. So they were like, no.
Yeah.
Which, fair enough. Ahead of the hearing, June Steenkamp said Pistorius was not remorseful or rehabilitated. According to his parole lawyer, Pistorius had been a model prisoner, a factor taken into account for parole. If he had been granted parole, how many times have I written the word parole? Freaking hell. It's in there for like 3 more times because there's like the parole board, the parole officer, and then what they're talking about is parole. Wow. If he had been granted parole, the parole board would have had several options ranging from full parole to day parole or correctional supervision. Pistorius was denied parole, with a lawyer for the Steenkamp family stating that we were advised at this point in time that it has been denied and it will be considered again in 1 year's time. On 24th November 2023, it was announced that Pistorius was to be released on parole. Reeva Steenkamp's mother, June, did not oppose his parole this time because she simply cannot muster the energy to face him again. Pistorius was released on parole on 5th January 2024 with conditions in place until his sentence expires on 5th December 2029. So he's staying at his uncle's house.
Yeah.
And it is... When I say house, it is like a manor. Like swimming pool, there's like a gardener, there's like a chef. It's not like you'd be in prison.
Yeah.
It'd be like me just chilling at home and not having to work, not having to do anything. Yeah. It's not...
I want to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like prison sentence still. Like, hell, I'll shut myself up in a manner like that for 4 or 5 years.
Right?
Yeah.
So when you see those things on Facebook and it's like this beautiful house in the middle of a forest, they're like, oh, you've got to be in here for 12 months with no internet and you get $5 million. Could you do it?
Yeah.
Yes. When can we go?
Yeah, sign me up. So I kind of feel for the mum and dad of Reeva having to, one, have, like, obviously they lose their daughter, and they would not have really known him. She would have barely known him. Like 3-4 months dating someone.
Yeah, exactly. And she was already concerned by his behaviour.
Yes, yeah. So I really feel for them. Reeva Steenkamp's mother told the hosts of the British television program This Morning that she'd forgiven Pistorius during his trial. She founded the Reeva Steenkamp Foundation to help prevent similar cases in the future. So she forgave him, but I think never believed him. I think the forgiving was kind of maybe for her own process and for her to be able to let go.
Yeah.
Now, when I was doing the research and watching this video, I couldn't decide whether I think he knew she was in the toilet or not. Seeing him he was getting teary-eyed. They had to stop the trial at one stage, and the counsellor came and had to walk him through it because he was having a full breakdown.
Oh, wow.
Don't know if it's just me being too empathetic with people and seeing the good in people, but just seeing that, I was like, oh, nah, I don't think he did that. Like, he looked so heartbroken.
See, I can vaguely remember, like, when it was all happening, and I know I've always thought he was guilty, but I don't remember why.
Why? You just had that feeling?
I don't know if it's like, you know, it just doesn't make sense to just shoot through a door not knowing who's on the other side of it. Because if you're standing there with a gun, if there's an intruder in the house, the minute they open that door, then you can shoot. Like, then you know, no, now I'm defending myself.
Like, that's another scary thing of having guns, I guess, in the house.
You know, how many places in America where guns are just an everyday thing? People carry them. They have them on them at all times.
Right, and like,
there is no need to be walking around with a gun attached to your hip. Like, I feel like if that was me, no one knows how they're going to act until they're in the scenario. But if you're sitting there in bed with your partner, out doing whatever he was doing, bringing the fan in and stuff, you hear someone, you and your partner are right there in the bed. You know where you both are. Mm-hmm. You're safe. It wasn't like there was kids in the house. And this intruder would have had to have walked through the bedroom to get out, or to have even gotten into the toilet in the first place. I would have literally sat there in my bed with the gun pointed at the doorway, waiting for them to walk through the doorway.
Like, if that's the only in and out.
Yeah.
Oh, no, so it was like there's a little window and that was open, which was next to the door to the toilet. So he thought they broke in through there. But then I'm like, so what did they break in and just decided to take a shit? Like, I don't know. It was a bit, So seeing him emotional kind of made me feel for him. But then it could also be played up as that could have been very heavily guilt. He was crying out of guilt.
Yeah.
And the situation he got himself into and how heavily they thought how guilty everyone thought he was instantly. And
could
it was
have
like
even been being like that little spoilt brat, like, oh yeah, I'm going to get away with this because I'm Oscar Pistorius. Yeah. And then when he realised he wasn't going to.
Had a cry. Yeah, because one of the judges, or I don't know if it was the judge or someone that was questioning him, was full like pretty much like, why are you being a little bitch? Like, why are you getting emotional? Yeah. It was funny to see, but at the same time,
not brave because you don't have a gun in your hand.
Yeah, that kind of thing. It's just like, why are you crying? Why are you crying right now?
Yeah.
So I was a bit unsure of whether I thought he did it. But then when you look at all the evidence and the things that the police officer said, the trajectory of the bullets and things like that, and the positioning of how she was.
Yeah.
It looked like she was hiding from him.
And like, it kind of feels like once you know there's a lie in the story.
Yeah.
Then everything comes
picking
undone.
Everything apart. Yeah.
Like, he would have no reason to say, like, oh, I didn't have my feet on.
That was his reasoning, was like, I felt so vulnerable because I didn't have my legs on. Which is why he shot, which is why he...
It's almost like maybe if we go with the intruder theory, it's almost like maybe she got up, went to the toilet, he heard it, and was like, there's an intruder. She could have come out of the toilet. He shot at her. She's freaked out and ran back into the toilet. That's why her bladder was empty, but she was in that position like she was hiding.
Because it was like after she like emptied the bladder,
Yeah, and then he's continued to shoot at the door, and he might have just changed the story, because if he tells that version of the story, well, you've seen her. You know it's her. But if it's night and you're half asleep, he might not have
like
registered that it was her. He's just seen that's it. He's just seen the shape of a person and gone, fuck, there's someone in the house.
But then when you hear the stories of like the neighbours, where one said they heard a female scream, and it was a gunshot, screaming, and then more gunshots.
Yeah, which would kind of match that theory that she'd come out, he'd shot at her, she'd run to go back into the toilet. And then he'd followed to the toilet and kept shooting.
And apparently he was very trolling and like a very jealous type. Yeah. And she was a model. She's constantly doing things that would be pissing him off.
Yeah, yeah.
So it'd be hard to...
He might have even have just had a complete brain fart and been trying to scare her and was shooting at the door, not even registering in his brain that those bullets are going to go through the door and hit her. It could have just been like, oh, I'm trying to scare you, haha, I'll shoot at the door.
It won't sort of just, like go all the way through.
Not registering that, his intention might not have been to kill her. It might have been to, in some warped, twisted way, scare the shit out of her. Mm-hmm. And that's where the guilt comes in, because he's like, whoops, didn't mean to kill you. Was just trying to scare you.
Freak you out. Yeah. Especially because he was quite gun happy. And like we said, like there was one of the things that he got charged with, there was something he took his firearm, and it was in a restaurant. One of his friends, I can't remember her name, but was clipped in the foot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're like taking your gun out in a restaurant. What was the reasoning for that?
Yeah.
And then like through the sunroof and shit. So he was obviously quite gun happy.
Yeah.
Not just because it was an intruder. I mean, you think he was guilty?
Yeah.
So I wrote, so what do you think? Murderer or truly too scared to turn the light on and just shooting blindly into the toilet? Yeah. I think he knew.
Yeah.
Just the circumstances and, like I said, the evidence.
Yeah.
And people's accounts of the night. Like the neighbours saying they seen a light on, but then everything he's saying, I didn't turn the light on. I didn't turn the light on.
That's it.
Like,
and like, the minute there's doubt,
you start picking everything.
Yeah, because if it was genuinely an accident, you would remember every single thing that happened, because you're either going to remember absolutely everything or forget absolutely everything, because it's a massive trauma. If you've accidentally shot your partner...
Like, that's shock.
Yeah.
To the...
You're not going to be like, no, I didn't turn a light on, when you full well did turn a light on. You're not going to say, oh, no, I shot at the door, when there's evidence that you shot before you were even in the bathroom.
And then like him going out to the balcony and screaming for help.
Yeah.
So then that's what they were trying to say. He was in such a panicked state that when he screamed, it came off very high pitched.
Yeah.
And then that's why they thought it was a female.
Yeah.
And so they were saying it's hard to distinguish between a male and a female scream.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But it's like...
I think I remember at one point when it very first happened, he was trying to say he was sleepwalking or something.
Oh, so his story changed. He did it while
sleepwalking. I can vaguely remember something like that. Because I remember, like, I was really invested in it at first. And then when he pretty much got off at first, I was like, what a load of bullshit.
Yeah.
And then stopped paying attention to it. Like, I didn't even realize he actually ended up in jail. I thought he got away scot-free. But yeah, he's only been out for just under a year.
This term is technically till 2029, I think I said.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he'll be, I guess, at his uncle's place till then. Yeah. Or if he gets let go for good behaviour. More good behaviour. But that's wild. But I'm glad that they ended up, I guess, seeing the error of their ways and changing it from 5 to 6, then to the 13 and however many months. Like, that's good.
This was a genuine accident. What a head fuck for him though. Like, oh yeah, you got 5 years. Oh no, we're going to give you 6. No, we're going to give you 13.
Yeah, like at first when I read all those different convictions, I was like, how is that allowed? Like, once he's convicted, you can't redo the case. But I guess because he was appealing and doing things, they reopened it because he was trying to get let off. But yeah,
I feel like once you appealed once and got extra time, wouldn't you just not appeal again? Well, they doubled his time by him appealing again. So
yeah, for that other time,
he'll write a book now and make millions if he hasn't already.
But you know what? I'm pretty sure he has. Just all the evidence just kind of points that he's lying and that he's guilty. Yeah, which is why I guess they put him away. Like, there's even the mum and dad still don't. To this day, don't believe his story.
There's always that part of me, though, that little sympathetic part that's like, but what if he is telling the truth?
And he's just so heartbroken that he's killed, like, the love of his life. Yeah. I mean, you'd feel fucking horrible if he did accidentally kill your love. Shit.
But yeah, evidence doesn't really lie, usually.
Yeah. So this is like a very, like, the law and the jurisdiction or whatever, they did their job. Other than the judges sort of giving him such light sentences to begin with, considering what it was. But then they, like I said, seen the error their way.
That first judge was probably very much like, no, I think he did it, but what if he didn't? Like, that's probably where that light sentence came from. Some prison time was better than none.
And then I guess because he wasn't convicted of necessarily murder, culpable homicide. There was a lot of interviews with just citizens of Africa. Like, a lot of them were saying he got such a light sentence because he's white, because he's a celebrity, because he's rich. Yeah, like, he just got let off. You get 13.
Like, if this was in, someone in the slums of South Africa who had shot their partner and, couldn't afford fancy lawyers and stuff like that, it probably would have been a very different story. But I don't understand why we have mandatory minimum sentences if
and then
they don't get upheld.
Yeah.
Well, like, mandatory means that's the minimum they can be sentenced if found guilty for this crime.
Yeah. So
how do you then sentence someone to 5 years?
Like, I hate that. Why bring in things if you're not going to follow them?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And you see things, mandatory minimum is life. Oh, but we'll give them 13 years. No, give them life.
Well, that was Oscar Pistorius.
Yes.
Do you guys think he knew she was in the toilet? Do you think he shot blindly at what he perceived to be an intruder? Let us know. Let us know on Insta comments.
How many intruders are like 6 foot tall, skinny blonde women?
Yeah. And also, what intruder breaks into a house and then is like, immediately, I need to go to the toilet?
Yeah.
I need to leave my DNA all over the place.
No, like, shit, I broke into a house, I'm so nervous, I'm going to poop.
Maybe. We don't know. All right. Yes. Just hit all the likes, hit all the buttons so you get all the reminders that we're posting.
Yep. Subscribe, download, follow.
All the random words.
All the things.
All the things. And welcome to season 2. That's exciting. So and I guess we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.